All right, we're going to be assembling the helmet. Yeah. All right, so this is the sheet you're gonna need. Plus there is a inner head spacing strap. All right, let's punch out all these pieces and we'll get started with the main foundation, this spacer and the top dome. All right, we got the pieces for your helmet right here. This is the front section, and then this is the top dome. This part is optional. I recommend it because it does give a little bit more space inside the helmet. This is essentially a spacer that goes between your head and this portion, and it allows for some space for your ears. It also will give you a buffer if you need to take this out. If your head gets too big for your helmet, you'll be able to give yourself a little bit more space. You know, this could also take the place of like foam if you wanted to add that in there for added comfort. Anyway, I find it useful. So the way I'm going to use this is I'm going to crease this up on the corrugation. Corrugation is running this way, the inner structure of the cardboard. I'm going to grab some tape, and then I'm going to put this around my head, and I'm going to have it a little loose. I don't want it like super tight. There we go. I want it above my ears. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flex this piece as well with the corrugation. When you're flexing something, there's always a chance that some some edges might rip, and that's okay. You're going to be covering a lot of this in tape and then paper macheing it, so you're not going to ever see any of those. Now, I've got a pretty big head, so when I put this in here and then wrap this up, it might not fit. Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, there you go. It's probably going to overlap for you, and that's okay. So I'm going to put a piece of tape on here, just like I did before. I'm going to put this on, then I'm going to put this on, wrap it over, and seal that up. I'm going to push this band up higher, so it's close to the top here. And then I might put a piece of tape in there just to hold it initially. Yep, good. It's not hitting the top of my ears, so that feels good. Okay. Now, I'm going to put another piece of tape around here. Cool. All right. Now what I want to do is add the domed top portion. Okay. That is this piece. So the cardboard has a flatter side and a sort of like rumplier side. You can kind of see the corrugation on this side. I'm going to curve it in towards the corrugation visible side. And that's just aesthetics, you know. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, when I fold these parts in, these might crack right here. That's all right. Yeah. Basically, they're linked together right there, so you know how these shapes are going to be interacting with each other. So I'm going to grab two sides like that, and then I'm going to tape them together. I'm going to do that again. Those portions cracked in the middle, I might also just add some tape right there. Okay, so I've got the dome right here, and I have my helmet. with the spacer inside. Now I've got a pretty big head, so the fit is going to be a little different than it will be for yours, especially since I have this spacer in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the back of my dome first, and then I'm going to also put some tape here and here, and might do some up here. And then I'm going to put my helmet on, and then I'm going to put the dome over the top and push the two sides together, and then I'm going to try to tape it and then take it off and see where it's at, if it looks good, and then I'll reinforce it from there. Now I'm going to put this on. I'm going to do the back part first. And then I'm going to do the sides. And then I'm going to tape the top. So there's quite a space right here. I might just tape it on up, or I could also add some cardboard in there. I'm going to push it forward a tad as well because I've got space in the back. All right. And then I'm going to tape this down back here. And then I'm going to now I'm going to try that again with this front portion. I'm going to put it on and then kind of add some pressure to it and see where my head lies. Okay, so that feels better. I'm going to tape this down a little bit. All right, yeah, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to add some tape on the inside and here. So now, since I've pretty much got the spacing right, I'm going to go around and reinforce this main edge, because that is like pretty much the largest structural connection point. All right, I'm satisfied that that feels pretty solid. I'm going to move on to the decoration phase. I'm going to start with these parts here, the sort of like crown and curly Q horn looking sections. There's two of them. And I'm going to shape these so that they're going to fit around the curve of the helmet. I'm going to start bending them. Now I'm going to bend this side in the opposite curve. Don't forget to bend these parts. Tape. So I'm going to get a number of smaller pieces of tape, because there are a lot of curves on this shape. I'm going to line this up with this bottom portion here and this part right here. I also want to look back along this edge, and I want to line this part up with that edge there, okay? But I'm going to start from this side first, and I can actually use kind of a larger piece of tape, because that's a flat edge right here and it won't wrinkle. It is trickier because you're going to be working with just more material, more tape. So there is a possibility that it's gonna wrinkle just because of that, because it's unwieldy. All right, now I'm gonna look over here. I'm gonna add some tape to these other sections. And then I'm gonna look back over here. Make sure this is flat. And then I'll add some tape. Right around there. And up in here. Okay. All right, that's pretty good initially. You are going to want to go and reinforce tape these areas because you want them to be held in place before you mache them. All right, I'm gonna tape this front portion too. Probably just get a big old piece like that. Now I want to push this down, push the tape into the corners because there is a nose, there's like a bridge part right here. It's gonna sit between. If you did this first, like I told you to, and you're like, this nose bridge doesn't have enough space, you can kind of just push it and crunch it into like this piece. Ugh. Looks pretty good. Tape that down in there. I'm gonna add just a couple more pieces. Okay, and then I'm gonna add this second part onto here. Before I get much further, I'm gonna push this into this bridge and I'm going to tape across here to kind of link those together. Now I'm going to tape these sections on. Okay, pretty good. Now that piece, that might need some more tape. Again, I would recommend taping all of this down, being sure to push the tape into the edges so that you have some nice definition. All right, looking good. I'm going to try it on. It's looking good. Looking cool. Okay, now I'm going to add pieces down in here. They fit just like that. There's these two bumps. They're up here. And it should line up with this edge right there. I would recommend even tearing the tape in half once you've torn it in half, just to get into those corners, just like that. As far as like lining things up, do your best. You know, it doesn't have to be perfectly in line with this part right there, you know, and it doesn't have to be perfectly up to that edge. You can always just put some tape over the cracks. Okay, now let's add these two pieces right here. They look like that. And we're going to crunch it up just like this so that it fits the curve of the dome. Now the more you crunch a piece, the least resistant it's going to be to pulling away from where you tape it. Okay, looking cool. Try it on again. Yeah, it's still working. Okay. Now, you could be done at this point. If you are just like, I just want a simple helmet, I don't want a mohawk, I get caught in trees, you know, when I'm running through the forest, that's cool. Boom, you're done. Paper mache this. Woo! I'm gonna make the mohawk. I'll show you how that goes. Okay, so the mohawk, this top portion looks like this. It's got these two larger pieces. These edges get crushed and then taped together at the top. And then this one is in the front. There's a spanning shape that goes there to like keep this part open. And in the back, there's another one down here. And then there's these decorative parts that go on top in the front and in the back. All right, and then that all just gets taped down right onto the helmet. So first, we're gonna start by crushing the edge right up here. Be careful, because this is laser cut. It could be kind of sharp. You can use your finger, you can use a Sharpie, however you want to. So what you're doing is you're crushing this fluting right here. You want to make sure that this has been smashed so that you can push the pieces together and then tape them together, and it'll be a nice tight fit. Now we're going to get these two pieces and let's start taping them together. Put tape on one side, okay, and then pinch it really hard and then fold the tape over. So it's kind of like the same technique you would be using to make a sword. It's kind of like a sword for your brain. Piece over here. You don't want to tape up this seam here, okay? So when you're taping up this edge and you're folding the tape over, you don't want to just wrap it around, because you want to keep that open so that you can put the other spanning pieces in there. Okay. Now you want to open this up, kind of like a pita. So what this shape is going to do is it's going to bend and then fit in this section right here. So you're going to want to curve this up. Okay, and that's going to make this curve. Then this can be flat right here. You just want to bend that. All right. And then this front part can be a little flat. You could give it a little bend. All right, and then you're going to open this piece up, and then you're going to tape this right in there. So I would recommend taping this first portion down in there first. You can kind of fold this down, see if that lines up. Yep, that's pretty good. Get a big old piece of tape right across the front. Boom. There you go. All right, now get another piece of tape. Put that over on top, just like that. Wrap it over. There you go. And then you can push this into that edge like there, and that should fit nicely. And I'm going to put another big piece of tape just like that. And you get some smaller ones for this top portion, just so it doesn't wrinkle too much. Yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna do that same thing, but back here with this shape. You might find that you have to kind of bend it to fit the angles. There you go. And I'm going to reach in and push the cardboard up against the tape, so I don't just push the piece of cardboard down into the mohawk. All right, that's pretty good. So now we're going to tape on these decorations. I'm going to recommend that this part gets taped on so that this edge here lines up with the top of this, just like that. And then I would recommend taping all around here. Let's put this little back portion on. That should line up nicely in the back. And then these I'm going to add right onto here. This should line up with this bottom edge there, and then this should line up with that edge there. This edge right there. Okay, I've got the decorations on all the sides. Your mohawk is done. Great job. Now I'm going to try and center this up and then tape it on. I'm going to roll up some tape and add them into this bottom portion of the mohawk. It's going to take a pretty good amount of tape to securely attach your mohawk to your helmet. When you paper mache it, it is like not going anywhere. All right. So since I have it initially taped on with these rolls of tape, I'm going to look at it, check it out, see if I like it, put it on, stand in the mirror. If you like it, then tape it down. Oh yeah! I like it. So I'm going to tape it down here in the center first. I think it's going to be pretty easy to lose the definition of this piece, this like frame here, when you're attaching the mohawk onto your helmet. So just be wary. Take your time. All right, great. You've attached the mohawk onto your helmet, and I would recommend going over it and adding more tape for sure before you paper mache it. Once you paper mache it, it is going to be amazing. You could even take it the next step and shellac it if you'd like, and that'll add some rain resistance, and it'll make it last even longer, and it'll be shiny. All right, there you go. Nice job. I said, nice job.